Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Tony, should we put our show on a 7-second delay?
And Tony Kornheiser, sure. Then the network could blur out hand gestures like this.
Hey, what are you doing? That European TV?
Not?
No. You like European TV, don't you?
I do.
We've seen European TV.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Maurice Clarett wins in court. Lennox Lewis may be hanging it up. And if you could be anyone in sports, who would you be? I'll tell you later in this show. But we start today with a court ruling in New York State that finds for Maurice Clarett and against the NFL. Judge Shira Shinlin has determined that the NFL has unfairly blocked Clarett's entry into the league and ordered the NFL to allow Clarett into the upcoming draft. The NFL, of course, will appeal, but at the moment, Wilbon, I believe I can say I had this one right.
You know, this is just like you, because you often watch a big game on Monday night, and it's 7-0 in the first quarter, and then you go to bed, and you wake up the next morning, you go, oh my God, I thought the game was over when I went to bed. It's 1 quarter. It's
1-0 in favor of Clarett. Now, the NFL can ask for a stay on this order, and maybe the appellate court will give it to him, and maybe the appellate court won't. What the judge found was what I believed all along, which is that he is being denied his civil rights. There's no other place in the world like the NFL where he can go and make a living.
Too bad.
And they have to let him in.
And we'll see what happens.
There's no age limit on this.
We'll see what happens. I'm going to expand this a little bit. I talked to Spencer Haywood earlier today. And it was fascinating.
The original guy in basketball.
That's right. And I asked him, what do you think about this? And he said, of course, I applaud the ruling.
Right.
But, and I said, okay, there's a but coming from Spencer Haywood. And he said, however, even though all these kids are coming in, I never envisioned and never wanted kids trying to come out of high school and going to the pros. He said that he thinks football is the exception. Even in hockey, Wayne Gretzky could have somebody protect him, but Clarett won't have that luxury.
It's not about whether Clarett can go into the pros and play right now. It's does he have the right to take that chance if he chooses to take that chance. The fact of the matter is the hardest place to do it is football.
Yeah.
And if that wasn't true, then colleges wouldn't redshirt their own freshmen.
That's right.
Because they know that their own freshmen can't even play against their own seniors.
So all you're doing is going back to your subversive days in the 60s when you had the red afro, and you want this kid to have that right.
I don't think it's subversive to say that he is being denied his civil rights.
I don't think that's a civil right. To play in the National Football League.
Of course it is.
He can still make a living.
No, he doesn't. No, as what? As a bus driver? As a clarinet player? This is where he wants. Yes, it is. He wants to make his living.
To play out. I believe it's the first quarter.
The NFL's down 0-1 right now.
First quarter.
I believe I had that right.
There's another potentially big NFL story. This one coming from St. Louis. A website, BaptistPress.com, is reporting Kurt Warner said in a speech last week that he was told his faith, specifically too much Bible reading, may have cost him the starting quarterback job. Mike Martz, the coach, then told the St. Louis Post-Dispatch that if Warner said that, quote, it's a bald-faced lie, close quote, and if the Warner's trying to get himself traded, it ain't going to work. Warner moonwalked on the comments a little bit in the interview later today with KFNS in St. Louis. But Tony, this thing sounds explosive, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And if Kurt Warner made a speech before a large group, I'm sure it was taped, and I'm sure we can find that tape somewhere. I think that what's great about America is you have the freedom to practice religion or not practice religion. When you start putting it in people's faces and claim that it is the reason that X or Y happened, you enter a very slippery slope in athletics.
And you better have proof.
Really do.
So you have to name names.
See, he was 0-7 as a starter in his most recent 7 games. With
lots of fumbles and picks and losses.
Now, I think he's a better quarterback than you think he is even at the moment.
No, I think he can be fine somewhere else. I just thought it wasn't going to work in St. Louis.
I think this can hurt you because if you are another coach and you say, if we don't start him, is he going to claim that it was because of religious persecution? Right. Now, he has said, I didn't say that exactly, but again, there's going to be a tape that's going to say what he said. Don't you believe
that coaches, some coaches hating any distraction, could easily tell a guy, can you put that away?
Yes.
And it could be misconstrued.
Yes. And I also believe there are some coaches historically and even now who have certain religious persuasions and favor people who say they have the same ones. I think you're messing around with a very difficult area here when you're in religion.
Yes.
Clinton Portis, the Denver Bronco Pro Bowl running back who gained 1,591 yards this past season, has threatened to sit out training camp next summer if Denver does not renegotiate his contract. Portis said, quote, I don't want it to come off as if I think I'm bigger than the team because I don't, but at the same time, there are players on special teams making more money than me, unquote. Mike Clinton Portis is due to make $380,000 this coming season. $455,000 next season. A lot of people in America would love to make that kind of money, but not a guy going to the Pro Bowl. What do you think he should do?
Well, he could start by screaming at his agent, who would happen to be Drew Rosenhaus, who got a lot of money for Willis McGahee, who came after from the same university.
Right.
But Drew Rosenhaus has done a good job by a lot of people, but this guy needs to make more money given what he does. Here's his problem, Tony, and I understand he wants to make more, a lot more. He's got in back of him a guy named Quentin Griffin, who in the last 2 weeks of the season for Denver averaged 105 yards rushing.
Hey, you and I behind the Denver offensive line historically could average 105 yards rushing. This is a real problem.
You get into a Hochstein situation.
But this is a real problem because Denver makes running backs look great.
Yes.
I'm sure Portis is a great back, but they can say to him, oh, really? Oh, really? Well, we'll get somebody else.
And if you do that, you run the risk of them saying, it was nice having you. We're going to play Quentin in that spot.
That's right.
And he could produce.
That's
you don't know. Janet Jackson, we're still on this topic, yes, has apparently been disinvited to Sunday's Grammy Awards show to be televised by CBS, the same network that televised Sunday's Super Bowl and its controversial halftime
There's
show.
your boy and your girl on TV.
Interesting to me, Tony, is that CBS did not disinvite Justin Timberlake, her accomplice in Nipplegate. Now, before I explode on CBS, Tony, what do you think of Janet Jackson being booted from the Grammys?
Well, I think it's stupid. Because I think if she were to go out there with Justin Timberlake and perform a song, I think it'd be the highest-rated moment of the highest-rated show of the night, and they could tease it all the way till about 10:30. I think if she's been disinvited, they have got to get rid of this stooge, Justin Timberlake. They got to get rid of him because that is a co-conspiracy circumstance.
It is. And here's what else it is. It is going to inflame very passionate already racial feelings and racial divides in this country. If you allow a kid to be up on stage with her, whether they're friends or former lovers or not, you don't take him out of it, okay? Also, what we have seen happen with other people not of color in outrageous situations on network television or cable television, not to be punished in a similar way, is not tolerable.
I'm going to leave the racial politics to you. But one of the things that happened is that NBC told the people at ER they had a scene already shot in which an 80-year-old woman on an operating table, her breasts are exposed. I think that, and they said you can't have this anymore. I think that's good, because nobody wants to see an 80-year-old woman exposed, except maybe an 82-year-old man. We don't need
Reverend Al Sharpton, get off the campaign trail and do what you used to do, which is get in CBS's face right now for this junk.
We have big news, hot off the presses in England. Lennox Lewis, the heavyweight champion of the world, has called a press conference for tomorrow, reportedly to retire. To be quite honest with you, I can't remember the last time he fought, but I know it's only twice in the last 26 months. If Lewis does retire, it would only be his first retirement. He'd still have 7 retirements to go to catch Ray Leonard. So I'm not taking this retirement seriously, are you?
No, you can't take
By the way, here is the Ray Leonard retirement chart.
From a boxer. Seriously, Marvin Hagler is the last guy of just great prominence who was a championship caliber fighter at the time with years still remaining who just said that's it and meant it. Also, Riddick Bowe never came back, but it's a small list. It's a short.
Riddick Bowe had other issues as to why
Lennox Lewis has too much money on the table to mean this.
Why would
he wants him to come beg him.
The average age, fine. The average age of heavyweight boxers right now who regularly fight, 47 years old. So he's still got time to go, and he has been a great champion.
Yeah.
Every time somebody beats him or ties him, he comes back, knocks him out. He's been a very worthy champion.
Although the last time we saw him, he was getting his butt whipped by Klitschko.
So you fight him again, and he knocks him out because that is his history.
Maybe he thinks he can't knock him out, but he's got to fight.
It's idiotic.
Tony, there are tens of millions of dollars left on the table for Lennox Lewis. He ain't walking away.
You used to hate him.
I don't hate him. I just thought he was soft. I didn't think he was a champion.
We're taking a blow, but next on the show, if Clarett went pro, how high would he go? Mel Kiper lets us know. Are you feeling my flow?
What?
I'm like Mr. Jiggy Fly right now.
Mr. what?
Jiggy Fly.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Pardon the interruption. Presented by Guinness Draft Stout. Drink responsibly. Brilliant. And in part by AT&T Wireless. Reach out on the wireless service America trusts. AT&T Wireless.
We've got a few questions about Maurice Clarett's pro potential for Mel Kiper and his supernatural head of hair. Let's start with the assumption that Clarett would be drafted. Where would he be drafted, Mel?
Tony, I've been steadfast in what I've been saying all along, second round. I think when you look at Maurice Clarett, there's some durability questions. He only had that 1 year in the Big Ten. He hasn't played football for over a year, and you have some talented backs in this draft already. So I'm saying second round for Maurice Clarett if he's in fact in the April 24th NFL draft.
What kind of pro do you think Clarett would be? Is there somebody out there right now that he reminds you of?
Talented kid. He's a big back with an awful lot of ability. I don't think Ohio State would have won the national championship without him. Others have debated that. I think Clarett was the MVP of that football team. He had a ton of yards. He averaged almost 6 yards a carry. This is a guy that scored 16 touchdowns. Only caught 12 passes. Blocking's got to improve. But overall, a heck of a football player who had a chance to be one of the great college backs maybe of all time by the time his career was over. That was interrupted by the year layoff. So I'm thinking second round. That's for that reason, Tony. I think when you look at Clarett, he's still a work in progress. He needed that year this season. He needed another year, and by that third season, he would have been ready to come into the NFL. But now all of a sudden, you have to look at Clarett with some question marks.
Well, we know teams are going to be doing that, Mel, and I'm wondering which teams are going to have the fewest questions. Which teams do you think will take a serious look at him?
Well, you have New England with 2 firsts and 2 seconds, Mike, and they're a team that obviously could use help at the running back position. They're in a perfect spot. 2 1s, 2 2s, and they could roll the dice for a Maurice Clarett if, in fact, they felt like he was that good a back to come in and be their guy as their featured performer. But first round, I've seen backs that I didn't think had first round ability or should have been first rounders go in round 1. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. After a great workout, maybe he ascends to right there with Steven Jackson and Kevin Jones as one of the top backs in this draft. But if you're asking my opinion, I would say second round is about the earliest point in the draft that I myself would consider bringing Clarett into the fold.
All right, Mel, what you are allowed to do and what you ought to do are usually 2 different things. Have you run across anybody who thinks that this kid would not be better served going back to Columbus for at least 1 more year of college football?
I think with the year layoff, Mike, there's no question. He needs another year to show that he can go through an entire season and remain at full strength and become a complete back and then go into the NFL. There's no question, Mike, he would be better served by having another year at the college level.
I hope you don't mind me playing devil's advocate on this question, Mel, but if you would see him going in the second round, there's a lot of guys who make teams that aren't drafted at all. If he's already a second rounder, what does he have to go back to school for?
Well, for this reason, if he wants to enhance his ability and his rating, Tony, he could all of a sudden, if he's as good as I think he could be,
right,
and he showed 2 years ago, he could maybe be a top 5, top 10 pick in the first round, which guarantees you a lot more money in terms of that signing bonus. So he could conceivably significantly elevate that draft position. I agree with you. Curtis Martin, and we can go on. All the great running backs went from the second, third round on. But would you rather be a second-round pick now or be a top 5 pick in another year?
Do you think if this decision is upheld on the appellate level and anybody can go into the draft, do you think this will open a floodgate for people?
I really don't, Tony. I think there will be individuals who feel like they just want to move on and they want to see how they can perform in the NFL. I think, but you look at this year, Cedric, Cadillac Williams, Carnell Williams, Ronnie Brown, 2 kids at Auburn, had a ton of ability. Cedric Benson at Texas, a fine running back. Dan Cody, defensive end, Oklahoma. Derek Johnson, linebacker at Texas. All those kids I thought were first-round picks. They all are going back to college. Roy Williams a few years ago would have been in the top 10 at wide receiver. He went back for his senior year. So a lot of top juniors who could have come into the NFL draft and been first-round picks, Tony, and Mike did not do it. They wanted to go back and try to improve their draft position.
Mel, is Drew Henson going to be any good in the NFL, and who's going to have him?
Drew Henson, I think, will be worth a second-round pick. I think when you look at Green Bay, it would be an ideal scenario to be the heir apparent to Brett Favre. But to say, hey, he's as good as he was a few years ago when people said he rivaled Michael Vick, hey, that was then, this is now. He's still a work in progress when he comes into the NFL, shaking off the rust. Chad Hutchinson struggled. I think a guy like Henson is a long-term proposition 2 or 3 years down the road.
Very quick answer. Would you compare him to Tom Brady at any point?
Here you go again, Tom
Brady. At the college level, he was an excellent quarterback.
How about the pro
would have
level?
Been maybe a top 3 pick.
Right.
Now all of a sudden, Tony, that's that layoff from football. Now he's coming back. Does he love football or does he love baseball? Okay, so I think there's some questions there. I think he's worth a second-round pick in a trade or a draft choice.
Thank you, Mel.
Thank you, guys.
Mel Kiper, boys and girls. We're getting a snack, but when we come back, Tom Brady is whack, but is he the Mac? Do I have his back? Will Wilbon cut him some slack?
What are you now, the ghost of rapper's delight? What are you doing?
That's good, isn't it?
More like rap light is what you're doing.
Think so?
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm down. Tom Brady has got a great life right now, which got us thinking. If you could trade places with any young star, who would it be? Let's get the first candidate.
First candidate, Tom Brady.
Lo and behold, Tom Brady. 2 Super Bowl rings, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 26 years old, dating a supermodel. And where is he right now?
Pebble Beach.
Pebble Beach, playing
wears
golf.
a nice chapeau.
Yeah.
Got the man purse going. The only negative is he gets hit by big linebackers, big nasty linebackers.
I think you got to put him on.
But I am going to put him on.
You got to put him on.
Right to the top.
There we go. Who's
now,
next?
Alex Rodriguez.
Okay, did you see that commercial he does with Jeter?
Yes.
Right? That's his wife. That beautiful woman is his wife, his actual wife.
Well, you didn't think he was going to be married to, like, Martha Ray.
He may be the greatest baseball player of all time. What works against him for me, he's in Texas where he doesn't want to be. That's not good. He's taking a hit later.
Dallas. Have you been to Dallas?
He doesn't want to be there.
You want to try and go to the Hotel Zaza.
$250
He doesn't
million
get
in the
hit by
bank.
linebackers.
Who's next?
A-Rod won.
Who's next?
The other A-Rod, Andy Roddick.
Andy Roddick, dating Mandy Moore.
Pretty good.
She can sing. She can dance. She's very pretty.
Great
and
lifestyle. Tennis.
She can make money. She could be a sugar mama.
He's not going to marry her. He's got the money.
But
he's playing in all these great places all
wonderful
about the
locales. But
but
tennis is not as big as it used to be. Downgrade a little bit.
We agree on that. Andy Rod goes below the others.
Downgrade. Who's next?
Now you're going to laugh, but Freddie Adu.
I'm not going to laugh. Could be 14, could be 34, doesn't matter. He is a prodigy in soccer.
Yep.
Here's the downside for Freddie Adu. Soccer ain't big here. He's going to have to win the World Cup.
He will be in Europe, though. You know he'll be in Europe at some point. And once he's in Europe, Tony, he'll be the biggest star in the world.
I doubt.
In the whole world.
But not in America.
Bigger than A-Rod, because soccer is bigger worldwide.
Not in America. Not in America. Who's
we
next?
We didn't say in America. Shall we?
More athletic potential than anybody up here, but I can't trade places with her because she's a girl.
Can't do that.
I'd have to get rid of my clothing. I can't possibly do it.
Can't trade places with somebody who would be wearing a pinafore, but we would like to trade golf swings with her.
Well, there's another thing, too.
She hits.
And being a woman, as much commercial endorsement as she get, it won't be the same as being a man. So downgrades
it could be.
Downgrades a little.
Serena Williams is above a lot of men who think they make more money.
Who's next?
The big bopper. Tiger Woods.
He's already got about $200 million in the bank. He should be the greatest golfer of all time. He's playing a sport he can play until he's 60, marrying a total babe. Am I right?
I got a picture of the total babe. We come back to it. You have to make an argument for Tiger Woods. He makes more money than anybody, okay?
Hard not to. And he looks
Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods goes to the top above everybody else.
You're making your own list.
Everybody comes down.
Do what you have to do.
We're going to move these people down.
I don't agree with you. You do what you want.
Tiger Woods goes to the top, and if you think anything other than that, you're a knucklehead.
You do what you want.
Freddie Adu, the other A-Rod, Lawrence Frank.
He's cute. He's young. At the moment, he's the greatest coach in the history of the NBA, but
he's undefeated.
But
undefeated.
He is one locker room argument away from being fired because Jason Kidd won't like him. Get him off the board.
If Lawrence Frank came to your house wearing a T-shirt that said
I'd give him
Lawrence Frank, you wouldn't even know. He looks like the paper boy.
I would assume he's selling cookies at
Lawrence
that point.
Frank not making
he's off the board. Who's next?
Bron.
He's got $100 million in the bank already. He is better than expected. He's being cheated not being in the All-Star game. Let me tell you this. He's an only child like me, better than expected like me, black like me. So I love
black like you.
Black like
only
me.
one problem for LeBron.
What?
Lives in Cleveland. And for me, from the Midwest in Chicago, you can't do that.
I understand.
He gets downgraded. The other A-Rod, even with Mandy Moore, comes off.
No, you're nuts.
LeBron goes here.
Who's next?
My man, Justin Timberlake.
I'm going to yield to you because I think he's a stooge.
He's a stooge, really. That just shows what you know. The guy is incredibly talented, and even if he wasn't, he's had in this year alone, who's he had? Britney Spears, Janet Jackson, Cameron Diaz. Which other of these guys have had that, Tony?
He can't dance.
He's
as far
talented.
As I'm concerned. He can't sing.
Oh, you think Tom Brady can dance, but Justin Timberlake can't? You're a stooge.
Set your board up.
Here's the board for me.
Set your board up.
All right.
Hurry up. Set your board up.
Come off. Brady comes down. Yeah. A-Rod comes down.
Here we go.
Justin, Tiger.
Set your board. You happy with it?
That's a real man's board.
Here we go. Justin Timberlake is out of here. Tiger Woods goes there. A-Rod goes there. Tom Brady moves out of there. Andy Roddick. I want Andy Roddick, the other A-Rod. I got LeBron over here. Nah, I don't. I got LeBron over there. I got Andy Roddick over there. Right now, this moment, only this moment.
You
Tom
leave
Brady.
Justin Timberlake.
Hey,
I had a write-in vote. You know what my write-in vote was?
Hurry up.
I forgot.
Wilbon's been dissed. Jeter, you dope.
Derek
With
Jeter.
a flick of my wrist, we're taking a miss. No, we should be taking a spits. But
Jeter
our next
goes up here.
Bob Knight gets a kiss. You getting the gist?
Derek Jeter.
You're just
Jeter.
You're so slow on the trigger.
I was slow on the write-in vote. I forgot. My elections,
it was your idea.
I'm not any good.
Pardon the interruption. Presented by Guinness Draft Stout. Drink responsibly. Brilliant. And in part by Chic Quattro. 4 blades and 2 conditioning strips for an incredibly close shave.
Happy time, people. Happy 70th birthday, Hank Aaron. Still the all-time home run leader, 755. Also the all-time leader in RBI and extra base hits. Only Aaron and Babe Ruth have more than 700 home runs, but Barry Bonds could get there this season.
Sammy Sosa needs about 3 seasons to get there. You think Bonds will do it this year?
Get to 700?
Yes.
He only needs, I think, 40-something to get to 700. Happy anniversary, Bob Knight. On this day last year, you won your 800th game as a college coach. Knight has 825 now, the most among active D1 coaches. He's 53 wins behind Dean Smith for the most D1 wins all time. Next closest to Knight among active coaches, Lou Henson.
I like seeing Knight with a really good team again, because then he's a worthy guy to sort of pop around every now and then.
Happy trails, Jeff Blake. You've been released by the Arizona Cardinals just a few weeks after Dennis Green took over. Green has named Josh McCown as the #1 quarterback for the Cardinals. It's certainly possible with the #3 pick in the draft, the Cardinals will go for a quarterback.
I saw Josh McCown at the Rockets-Kings game last week, and I bet him he'd be promoted. Josh, you owe me something.
You tight with
something
him?
Around
Tight with him?
I just met him. He's a
Time
nice
to find
kid.
out what we messed up, Stat Boy.
Wilbon, got some news for you. You
What?
were praising Riddick Bowe for staying retired, never trying to come back. The comeback starts in April after the 18-month sentence is over. Federal Correctional Institute in Maryland, 18 months.
Let's hope
Oh,
this
my.
doesn't happen.
Oh, no. Running out of
hope
show,
not.
we go to the big finish.
Let's do it.
The Yankees reportedly included Alfonso Soriano in a package for Albert Pujols, but the card said no. Are you surprised?
Does George Steinbrenner think everybody's stupid? No. The Red Sox signed Ellis Burks to be their righty DH. Is that a good move?
Yeah, they're in the AARP league. He's like
38.
70 years old.
Come on, he can
The
hit.
NBA will put the All-Star Game halftime show on a 7-second delay. Is that okay by you?
No, be a man. Show it live. Paris Hilton may host a Miss USA pageant. Good idea?
I know she's your girl.
Yes.
Yeah. She tried to get on an airplane with a live goat the other day, and a ferret and a monkey.
What is he, Joan Embry from the
Get out
San
of
Diego
here.
Zoo?
Duke in North Carolina tonight. You're hot. Who you got?
I got a good seat in front of the tube, in front of the deuce. I'm not picking. I told you not picking those games
You're
anymore.
gutless wonder. Gutless
They're
wonder.
only
We're out of
college
time.
kids,
Try and do
Tony.
better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
And I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow. College kids, not
Gut-
pros.
PTI.